Should you buy an as-is home here in Los Angeles? On today's video, I'm breaking down the pros and the cons of buying an as-is home here in Los Angeles and what you truly need to know if you do decide to buy an as-is home. Buying an as-is home in Los Angeles does not automatically mean you're getting a great deal. And it also doesn't mean the property is a nightmare. And see, most buyers assume it has to be one or the other. They see as is in the MLS, in the multiple listing service, and immediately think, this must be a steal or there's something seriously wrong with this house. And the reality here in Los Angeles is much more nuanced, to be honest. So if you're buying a home, whether it be Porter Ranch or Granada Hills, or down in the South Bay in Long Beach, out in Whittier, Pasadena, downtown Los Angeles, you need to fully understand what as is truly means in California before you get emotionally attached and start writing offers. So in California, as is simply means the seller is not agreeing upfront to make any repairs. That's it. It does not mean the seller can hide defects, does not mean you lose your right to inspections. You should definitely do your inspections. And it does not mean the property is being sold without disclosure. So California, I think, is probably the heaviest disclosure-heavy state. Sellers are legally required to disclose known material facts that could affect the value or desirability of the property. So even if it says as is, the seller still has obligations. What they're really saying is, we're not planning to fix anything before closing. Now, why do sellers in Los Angeles choose to sell as is? Well, one of the most common reasons is if the house happens to be probate or a trust estate sale. The homeowner passes away and the property transfers to the heirs. And those heirs may live out of the area, out of state, sometimes out of the country, and they may not know the maintenance history. They may not have the funds or desire to remodel. They just want to cash out. They simply want to sell the property in its current condition and distribute the proceeds to all the beneficiaries. Now, in these situations, as is more about simplicity than actual hiding problems. Some of the best opportunities I've seen in Los Angeles have been probate sales in really strong neighborhoods where the bones of the home were really solid, but the finishes were dated. Just everything cosmetically needed to be updated. Another common reason is deferred maintenance. So let's say a homeowner has lived in a home in the property for 30, 40, 50 years. The roof might be older. The HVAC system could be near the end of its life expectancy. The kitchen hasn't been updated since the early 1970s. And instead of pouring $50,000 or $100,000, $150,000 into updates and risking that buyer still asks for credits, they price it slightly below updated comparables and they list it as is. Now, that's a strategic move, not necessarily a red flag. There are also land value situations. So in parts of the San Fernando Valley, as well as definitely parts of the North San Fernando Valley, but all over Los Angeles, the value can a lot of times just be in the lot. So builders are buying to tear down and build new construction. Now, in those cases, the condition of the existing home doesn't really matter much. It's going to be demolished by the builder/developer. Those properties are almost always sold as is. And then there are the distress or bank-owned sales. Now, while we don't see as many as we did during the foreclosure crisis, those years of 2007 to about 2010, they do still exist. And banks don't want to repair homes. They want to liquidate the assets. And when you see a bank-owned property in Los Angeles listed as is, you should expect minimal flexibility and fast timelines. Now, let's talk about pricing misconception. Buyers often think, as is equals a deep discount. In Los Angeles, pricing is competitive and data-driven. So sellers and agents look at comparable sales. If there are known issues, those typically are reflected in the price. But don't expect a 25 to 30% discount unless the property truly needs a full renovation. And in desirable areas like Porter Ranch or Encino, or even fixer homes, basically they generate strong interest because of the location, and it still drives real long-term value. However, as is can reduce buyer competition. Some buyers are risk averse. They want turnkey. They want everything perfect. They don't have the funds to do a remodel. When they see as is, they skip it in its entirety. And that hesitation can create opportunity if you're prepared to evaluate the risk properly. I've seen buyers secure properties with less competition simply because others were intimidated by the wording in the multiple listing service. How crazy is that? But the biggest risk in buying as is in Los Angeles is hidden issues. Older homes in the Valley, other parts of Los Angeles may have original cast iron plumbing, aging sewer lines, foundation movement due to soil conditions. Sewer line replacements can cost $10,000 to $20,000, right? Foundation repairs can be even more. A roof can average between $25,000 to $40,000. It's not cheap. So you cannot rely on a quick walkthrough to assess these risks. That is why inspections are critical. So even if the home is sold as is, you almost always have the right to conduct inspection, and you should, unless you waive that contingency, and you should not. And waiving inspections on an as-is property is something I would only recommend for someone who's a very experienced investor who understands construction risk. Now, a proper inspection package in Los Angeles, what should it include? It should include about a general home inspection, a termite or wood-destroying pest inspection, a sewer scope, especially for older homes, and possibly a roof structural specialist, and even possibly maybe someone for electrical as well. Now, financing adds another layer. If you're using FHA or VA financing, as-is properties can become really complicated. Appraisers will flag habitability issues, and if repairs are required for loan approval and the seller refuses to fix them, the deal can easily fall apart. Conventional financing usually offers more flexibility in these scenarios. Insurance is another factor that many buyers overlook, because in California, insurance companies are really tightening their guidelines. So older roofs, certain electrical panels, and aging systems can trigger underwriting for the insurance company to have concerns. And if the insurer requires repairs before issuing a policy and the seller doesn't want to make them, that creates a closing obstacle. That's why you always have an insurance contingency in the agreement. Disclosures are extremely important. California sellers must complete detailed forms outlining known issues, past repairs, and relevant property history, even if there's a death on the property in the last 3 years. Read them through thoroughly. Review them with your agent. And if something raises questions, ask before removing contingencies. The goal is to gather as much information as possible before you become non-refundable in escrow. Now, another strategic consideration is budgeting for repairs up front. If you're buying a home and you know it's as is, assume there will be surprises. Build a repair reserve into your financial plan. Even well-maintained homes can have unexpected issues. So going in with a financial cushion really reduces stress and allows you to approach the purchase much more rationally. Now, the negotiation strategy also matters. Even when a property is listed as is, that does not eliminate negotiation. If inspections uncover major issues that were not fully disclosed up front, there may be still room to renegotiate or request credit. The seller can always say no, but informed buyers often have more leverage than they think. That's a mistake buyers make. It's also important to clarify what stays with the property. Will the appliances, fixtures, mounted televisions, outdoor structures, these should be clearly documented in the contract. So then there's the final walkthrough. So sometimes you'll have final walkthrough disputes often that basically the expectations weren't aligned. One option that can sometimes provide peace of mind is requesting a 1-year home warranty. It's very typical here in Los Angeles for sellers to pay that. Now, it won't cover everything, but it can help offset the risk of some of the older systems failing shortly after closing. Sellers may be more willing to agree to a home warranty than a large credit repair because it's a smaller upfront cost. I would say typically in that $750 to about $1,100. Ultimately, buying an as-is home in Los Angeles is about risk management, not fear. It's about understanding the property, the neighborhood, and the long-term upside. And you basically have your own financial comfort level. In strong neighborhoods, buying slightly below updated market value and improving the home over time can be a really smart wealth building strategy as well as a financial decision, but only if you go into the transaction educated and prepared. So as is not automatically good or bad. It's simply a label. The real question is whether the numbers make sense, the risks are manageable, and the long-term value supports your investment. So when approached strategically, as-is properties can be wonderful opportunities. And when approached emotionally or without proper due diligence, they can become very expensive lessons. So if you're considering buying a home as is anywhere here in Los Angeles, the key is to evaluate it carefully, conduct thorough inspections, understand your financing and insurance implications, as well as the structure of the contract to protect yourself. And when you move to do that, you move from guessing to making informed decisions, and it's how smart buyers win in the Los Angeles market. I'm Scott Himmelstein with the Scott Himmelstein Group. Thanks for watching this video, and we'll see you on the next one.